Over the past year, we exposed how the bourbon industry has been quietly betraying the people who built it. Conglomerates buying beloved brands, gutting the recipe, lowering the proof, and doubling the price. The comment sections filled with thousands of people asking the same question. If Bulleit is a corporate costume, Basil Hayden's is watered to the legal minimum, Michter's is borrowed history, and Pappy is a $2,000 trophy. What is actually left? Is there a single bottle on the American shelf you can trust with your money for the rest of your life? Today, we answer that question. 9 bourbon brands that refuse to sell out. Not all cheap, not all famous, some without a marketing budget to speak of. But every one of them shares the same quality. They have never betrayed the person holding the glass. Number 9. New Riff. Approximately $35 to $40. The Honest Label. Walk into any liquor store in America and read the back of a bourbon bottle. You will find language about heritage and tradition. You will not find the mash bill. You will not find the exact age. You will not find where the bourbon was actually distilled. The industry thrives on ambiguity because ambiguity protects margins. New Riff rejects all of it. Founded in 2014 in Newport, Kentucky by Ken Lewis, a former liquor store owner who spent years watching customers overpay for mystery bourbon, New Riff prints everything on the label: the mash bill, the age, the proof. No chill filtration, no added coloring, no sourcing from anonymous Indiana distilleries dressed up as Kentucky craft. When their first bourbon was not ready, they did not do what every other startup does: buy someone else's whiskey, slap their name on it, and pretend. They waited. They sold other spirits to keep the lights on, and they let the barrels take the time they needed. The bottled-in-bond expression at 100 proof delivers bright caramel, toasted grain, baking spice, and a clean oak finish. It is not pretending to be a 15-year-old bourbon. It is trying to be an honest 4-year-old bourbon. It succeeds completely. At $35 to $40, you know exactly what is in the bottle, who made it, and how long it aged. That information should be standard across the industry. In bourbon, it is revolutionary. The rest of the industry is afraid to copy this model because copying it would mean admitting what they have been hiding. Number 8. Old Grandad 114, approximately $25 to $35, the forgotten one. Here is one of the great ironies in American bourbon. Beam Suntory owns 2 bourbons named after the same man. Basil Hayden Sr. settled in Kentucky in 1796 and started distilling with a high rye mash bill that was radical for its time. His legacy was eventually split into 2 bottles. One received the family name, an elegant tall bottle, a metal collar, 80 proof, and a $50 price tag. We put that bottle on our list of bourbons only uninformed people buy. The other received nothing. No redesign, no marketing campaign, no influencer partnerships, no social media strategy. Just a plain label, a bold proof, and a price nobody in the boardroom bothered to raise. Old Grandad 114 sits at $25 to $35. Its prettier sibling, Basil Hayden's, costs $50 for 21 fewer proof points and a fraction of the flavor. Same parent company, same mash bill heritage, completely opposite commitment to the person drinking it. The 114 delivers immediate rye spice, burnt orange peel, and a caramel depth that tastes almost savory. The finish runs long and warm, the kind that makes you set the glass down and take a moment before the next pour. Walk into any serious bourbon bar and look behind the rail. The bartender will have a bottle of Old Grandad within arm's reach. Ask why, and the answer is always the same. Best value per proof dollar on the shelf. No other bottle comes close. Corporate neglect turned out to be the best quality control program in the industry. Nobody at Beam Suntory thought this bottle was worth optimizing, and so nobody ruined it. Number 7. 4 Roses Small Batch. Approximately $35 to $45. The Resurrection. 4 Roses should be dead. In 1943, Seagram's acquired the brand and executed one of the most cynical moves in bourbon history. They took the quality bourbon, the real Four Roses, and shipped it exclusively to Europe and Japan. For the American market, they released a bottom-shelf blended whiskey under the same label. For nearly 50 years, the name Four Roses meant cheap rot in its own country. The brand was murdered at home while thriving overseas. Most brands do not survive that kind of betrayal. Four Roses did. In 2002, Kirin purchased the distillery and brought in master distiller Jim Rutledge to rebuild from nothing. Rutledge returned to the original production philosophy, using a method no other Kentucky distillery employs: 2 distinct mash bills, 5 proprietary yeast strains, 10 separate bourbon recipes that are blended into the final bottle. The result is a bourbon that feels layered without being heavy. Floral rye, warm honey, rich toffee, and a slow-building warmth that finishes remarkably clean. Rutledge retired in 2015. His successor, Brent Elliott, has maintained the standard without deviation. That matters. A genuine buy-it-for-life brand does not collapse when one person leaves. It runs on a system built well enough to outlast any individual. Four Roses belongs here because it is living proof that corporate greed cannot permanently kill a bourbon if the people who rebuild it care more about the liquid than the label. Number 6. Blanton's Single Barrel. Approximately $55 to $65 retail. The inventor. Before 1984, the concept of selling bourbon from a single barrel did not exist commercially. Every bottle on every shelf was a blend of hundreds or thousands of barrels, designed to eliminate variation and create a uniform product. Then Elmer T. Lee, master distiller at what is now Buffalo Trace, walked into Warehouse H, tasted a barrel he considered genuinely exceptional, and made a decision that permanently changed the industry. He bottled it alone. No blending, no averaging. One barrel, one bottling, one unique expression of what Kentucky oak and time can produce together. The industry told him individual barrels were too inconsistent to sell. He proved them wrong. Blanton's became the first commercially released single-barrel bourbon in American history. Today, single barrel is an entire category. Every bottle in that category exists because one person trusted his palate over the marketing department. The bourbon justifies its origin story. Tasting notes include honey, citrus oil, vanilla cream, light spice, and polished oak. Nothing dominates. Everything works together with a silky texture that reveals why Lee chose Warehouse H specifically, because the airflow and temperature conditions in that location produce a distinct flavor profile he understood better than anyone. The iconic bottle, with its horse and jockey stopper, features the horse in a different stride position on each bottling. Collect all 8 and they form a complete racing sequence. A small detail that tells you something important about the people behind this product. They cared about things that did not need to be cared about. Allocation has made finding it at retail a lottery. At $55 to $65, it is worth every cent. At secondary prices above $200, you are paying for scarcity rather than quality. Blanton's earns a permanent seat on this list not because it is the best tasting bourbon here. It earns it because without Elmer T. Lee's gamble in Warehouse H, the bourbon landscape you know today would not exist. Number 5. Elijah Craig Small Batch. Approximately $28 to $35. The Family Vault. Heaven Hill is the largest family-owned spirits producer in America. The Shapira family has been running it since 1935. That single fact matters more than any tasting note. There are no shareholders demanding quarterly growth projections. No private equity firm calculating how to extract maximum revenue from minimum barrel time. No board of directors that can vote to lower the proof, cheapen the mash bill, or sell the distillery to the highest bidder. When Heaven Hill decides how long to age their bourbon, that conversation happens between family members who will still be at the table in 20 years, not analysts who will move to a different fund next quarter. The proof of what that ownership structure produces came in 2016 when Heaven Hill removed the 12-year age statement from Elijah Craig. Bourbon Forums predicted catastrophic quality decline. The decline never came. Blind tastings consistently place the current batch's level with or above the previous age statement releases. That does not happen by accident. That happens when your blending team has managed the same rickhouses for decades and knows every corner of every warehouse by instinct rather than data. The nose opens with warm caramel, toasted oak, and bright orange zest. The palate delivers vanilla, baking spice, and gentle smoke. The finish balances sweetness and warmth without tipping toward either extreme. At $28 to $35, this bourbon drinks like it should cost twice the price. Family ownership is the one thing that cannot be faked, marketed, or reverse engineered by a conglomerate. It is bourbon's last genuine firewall against the people who ruin everything they acquire. Number 4. Woodford Reserve, approximately $35 to $40. The slow way. Most modern distilleries have optimized for speed. Column stills run continuously. Aging warehouses are climate-controlled. Everything is engineered to get bourbon into bottles and onto shelves as efficiently as physics allows. Woodford Reserve looked at that model and said no. The distillery sits on a site in Versailles, Kentucky, where whiskey has been produced since 1812. It is the oldest active distilling location in the state. Brown-Forman did not simply purchase the property. They restored its copper pot stills and committed to a production method that is slower, more expensive, and less efficient than every available alternative. Woodford is triple distilled in those pot stills. The bourbon then rests in limestone-walled warehouses where Kentucky's temperature extremes perform work that no shortcut can replicate. Summer heat pushes the spirit deep into charred oak. Winter cold pulls it back. That seasonal cycle builds flavor layers that accelerated aging can approximate on paper but cannot reproduce in the glass. Caramel, orange peel, dark chocolate, and roasted oak arrive in careful balance. The mouthfeel is silky. The finish is long and evolving rather than abrupt. Nothing is rushed. Nothing is aggressive. Woodford does not announce itself. It assumes you are paying attention. Brown-Forman could convert to column stills tomorrow, triple output, and cut production costs significantly. They do neither. Every bottle that leaves Versailles carries the financial cost of those decisions. You taste it in the complexity. You taste it in the texture. In a market full of bourbons built by accountants, Woodford Reserve is still built by distillers. That distinction costs money. It is also the only reason it belongs on this list. Number 3. Buffalo Trace, approximately $25 to $30. The Wall. Buffalo Trace could charge $50 a bottle tomorrow and sell every single unit. The secondary market already proves this. Bottles with a $25 to $30 suggested retail routinely change hands for $60 or more through resellers and online forums. The demand exists. The margin is available. Sazerac has not taken it. That restraint is the entire reason Buffalo Trace belongs on this list. The distillery has been producing whiskey on the same site in Frankfort, Kentucky since 1773. It was one of 4 distilleries permitted to continue operating during Prohibition. That unbroken history represents generations of institutional knowledge about barrel aging, warehouse placement, and the effect of Kentucky's climate on oak. That knowledge cannot be purchased. It cannot be accelerated. It can only be inherited through decades of continuous operation. The bourbon carries that lineage directly. Brown sugar and orange peel open into rich caramel, firm oak, and a subtle tobacco note. The texture is creamy. The finish stretches long and clean. The same distillery produces Pappy Van Winkle, Eagle Rare, and Blanton's. Sazerac could have inflated every price across the entire portfolio, and the market would have absorbed it. They did not. Holding a price requires more discipline than raising one. Every year that secondary prices climb, some executive at a competing distillery raises MSRP to capture the margin. Sazerac watches it happen and keeps printing $25 on the tag. That is not a business strategy. That is a conviction. Number 2. Old Forester 100 Proof, approximately $22 to $28, the sealed bottle. In 1870, George Garvin Brown had a problem with the bourbon industry. Retailers purchased whiskey in barrels and sold it by the glass or jug. Between the distillery and the customer, anyone could water the whiskey down, adulterate it with tobacco juice for color, or cut it with raw grain alcohol to stretch the supply. The consumer had no way of knowing what was actually in the glass. Brown's solution was radical for its era. He sealed his bourbon in glass bottles before it left the distillery. Each bottle carried an implicit guarantee. The contents are exactly what we made. Nothing added, nothing removed. That sealed bottle concept was not a marketing exercise. It was a promise of integrity at a time when the entire industry operated on deception. 155 years later, Brown-Forman still owns Old Forester. It has never changed hands. never been acquired by a private equity firm, never been absorbed by a multinational conglomerate that would dismantle it for parts and sell the trademark to the highest bidder. In an industry where Michter's borrowed a dead distillery's history, Blade & Bow sells the ghost of a shuttered facility, and Orphan Barrel repackages surplus inventory as lost treasure. That unbroken chain of single-family ownership is almost impossible to comprehend. The 100 proof expression delivers on every generation of that promise. Brown sugar, toasted oak, and a warm richness on the first sip. Baking spice keeps the palate engaged throughout. The finish lingers with honest heat that rewards patience. At $22 to $28, this bourbon makes competitors at twice the price look poorly considered. The sealed bottle philosophy from 1870 never changed. Neither did the family behind it. Number 1. Wild Turkey 101, approximately $20 to $25. The Constant. In 1954, a young man named Jimmy Russell started working at the Wild Turkey Distillery in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. 70 years later, he is still there. He is the longest tenured active master distiller in the history of American whiskey. His son Eddie joined him in 1981. Between them, the Russells have overseen every barrel of Wild Turkey produced across 7 decades. That is not a heritage story printed on a hang tag. That is 2 lives measured in charred oak and Kentucky seasons. During those 70 years, every force in the industry tried to change what Wild Turkey is. The whiskey glut of the 1970s and the 1980s collapsed demand and forced distilleries to close, merge, or slash quality to survive. Brands lowered proof. Brands shortened aging. Entire labels disappeared and never returned. Jimmy Russell kept Wild Turkey at 101 proof throughout. He did not reformulate for smoothness. He did not water it down for a broader audience. He kept making the same bourbon the same way and waited for the market to catch up. When the craft boom arrived in the 2010s and every distillery scrambled to release limited editions at inflated prices, Wild Turkey had every tool available: the aged stock, the name recognition, and the master distiller with more experience than any living person in bourbon. They could have played the allocation game harder than anyone in the industry. Wild Turkey 101 stayed on the shelf at approximately $20 to $25. Same bottle, same proof, same price territory it has occupied for years, while everything around it inflated into absurdity. The bourbon justifies that loyalty completely. Cherry and cinnamon arrive with confidence. Rich caramel fills the middle with a depth that unfolds the longer you hold it on the palate. Oak and honest heat close the finish with authority. There is genuine bite, but there is control behind the bite. That balance is what 101 proof at its best actually means. Pour it into an old-fashioned and it outperforms bourbons at 3 times the cost. Sip it neat and the layers reveal themselves slowly across the evening. Mix it into a whiskey sour and it refuses to disappear behind the citrus. It does not request your approval. It earns it in every application. Wild Turkey 101 takes the top position because it answers the only question a buy it for life bourbon needs to answer. Can you walk into a store today, 5 years from now, and 20 years from now, and trust that the bottle you pick up will be the same? With Jimmy and Eddie Russell standing watch, the answer has been yes for 70 years. No other brand in American bourbon has held that line longer. No other brand has been tested harder, and no other brand has refused more opportunities to cash in on what they built. Stop chasing the allocation. Stop paying for shaped glass and frontier costumes and borrowed history. Stop believing that expensive means honest. The most expensive bourbon you will ever buy is the one that disappoints you. Buy the bottle that has always been there. Buy the one that never sold out. Buy the one a man gave his entire life to keeping right. That is not just bourbon. That is a promise kept in oak. Which bottle on this list is already on your shelf? Which one are you adding after watching this? And which brand do you think belongs here that we did not include? Drop it in the comments. Hit subscribe for more honest bourbon coverage that the big brands would prefer you never see. Pour something worth trusting.